Welcome to the CEC TV studios, Dixie State University, for our DSU Trailblazer season preview. Devon Hendrickson with third-year head coach Paul Peterson. Excited to talk some spring football after the spring. You guys getting ready for this first whack full season. But I want to go back to the spring a little bit. I know you have said it was very beneficial to just get those 5 games in.
Yeah, you know, we had a lot of new guys, and especially with some of these freshmen, be able to get some reps for free, I guess. Didn't lose any eligibility, and so they're coming back as freshmen, and really everybody gaining that extra 5 games for free, I guess you could call it, was huge for our team, especially for the development that we wanted to get. And we had a fantastic summer and compete against some really good teams too. So we're definitely growing and going in the right direction.
How many guys do you have back that are using that? The NCAA granted that blanket waiver for everybody. Do you have a lot to take advantage of everybody?
Yeah, they all get that free year. So
good coaching.
Huge. Yeah, no. It's just a rule we'll be able to take advantage of.
You're always talking about competing. You go 2-3 in the spring. I know you would have loved to win 5-0, but I felt like you guys competed. How do you summarize it?
Yeah, you know, we played New Mexico State. Well, first getting that big win at Tarleton at their place, and they were perennial D2 power. I think they were 11-1 the previous year and won their conference and had gone deep into the playoffs. That's why they wanted to be able to make that jump, right? So to be able to go to their place and do what we did was awesome for us. And then when we came back and played New Mexico State, an FBS opponent at their place, no one in the stands, so it was a little weird, maybe a little eerie, but we competed at a high level. We got pushed around a little bit, I thought, and weren't quite as physical as we needed to be, but our guys busted their butt for that and believed that every second that they could win that game, and we had chances to win. They had to come back down in the last minute to be able to score, and didn't give us enough time left. I think if we had enough time, maybe we would get a shot to be able to send it to overtime or win that game. But fun games to play. And then playing Kennesaw State, the triple option. It's always a challenge. You know, you got to meet their physicality. I think we did. I thought we matched up very, very well. Just had some mistakes that we needed to fix, and they didn't make very many. So you know, that was the kind of the key with that triple option. You don't get very many chances on offense, and you got to stop them on defense. And then coming back, we played Tarleton. We weren't ready for them that second game. They kind of get after us a little bit at our home game, and then finishing with Fort Lewis. You know, the previous year, I think we beat them 23-17, and it was a close game. And to be able to win 60-0 and play a lot of guys in front of a home crowd was super fun for us to end the season and give us a little momentum to come into summer. There's my recap.
That's a great recap. Paul Peterson now as the Dixie State coach, 10-6, 8-3 that final year of D2, and then 2-3 in the spring. And now the 11 games on this schedule. Let's dive into this schedule.
Yeah, go for it.
Not 1, not 2, not 5, 7 teams right now are ranked in the top 25. Let's talk about the schedule. Starting it off with 2 home games. Sac State on the 4th of September, and then I know everybody's excited about the in-state game with Weber on a special day, 9/11.
Yeah, we hate them. We hate purple. Just everything about Ogden. No, good rivalry. Those are always fun, playing those in-state rivals. I'll talk a lot of trash about SUU and about Weber State when we get a chance to play those guys, but it's all in fun. They're good coaches, good staffs, but those rivalry games are fun. That should be a lot of energy in our stadium, and I think they're doing a special presentation before the game, and I anticipate it being a packed house with their fans coming down and our community being able to rally. So, yeah, Sac State, spent some time there. I don't know if I got to check their roster. Maybe there might be a couple guys I recruited in there. It's been a minute since I've been there, but Coach Taylor does a great job with their offense. They've been pretty successful. They opted out of the COVID of the spring, so they didn't play any games. So they haven't played. I guess that would be like a year and a half since they played, or 2 years. So. They'll be ready. They'll be ready to go, and we're excited about that first home game. Again, you know, kind of like the spring, here in the fall, that first couple games, see where we're at, see how we compete against these teams. And playing all these ranked teams from, what do we got? A number 1, a number 3, a number 5, a 6, a 9, a 23, 24. It doesn't matter. Like, bring it on. We want to play the best schedule that we possibly can against the best teams, and let's continue to get better week in, week out.
Most of those are on the road, too. I think the only ranked team, and that's Weber, they're 6. Is the only home game, so you got all these big-time matchups on the road. Talk about traveling to a place like that. You guys, obviously, you'll have them ready to go.
It'll be fun, and it'll be cool to see, like, making that jump to play at these levels. You know, COVID's a little weird, no fans, right? Now we're going to play at Montana that's been sold out for years and years, but 40,000 fans, I believe. It's a fun atmosphere. So our guys will be excited to play in those type of environments. You know, Sam Houston State, the national champ, South Dakota State runner-up. Those are fun atmospheres, fun tradition that they have, and so it'll be good to have our guys be able to feel that.
Devon Dixon, Paul Peterson, just getting our Media Day coverage going. Really excited to talk about the recruits. Tell us about some of the newcomers. I know you got a lot coming back, but who are some of the new recruits that maybe didn't get a play in the spring due to injuries that we're going to see have an impact for you on the field this fall?
We got a few transfers from the transfer portal that have been good, filling in some plugs, adding some depth that we needed. You know, talking about the running back position, DJ Oates from University of Colorado, speedy back. Josh Fields, graduate transfer from UTEP. Those two feel like will have a big impact for us coming in the fall, adding to Quali Conley and Drew Robles, what they've done for us. And so I feel like we did what we needed to do there in that position, which was a little bit question mark coming after the spring, especially with some injuries and some guys entering the transfer portal from our team. And so we're excited about that. There's competition all over the place, but a couple other guys on defensive line, Livingston, I can't pronounce his Polynesian name, but Pongofi, and Michael Fafita, definitely adding some value to our defensive line right now in the interior. We saw Isaac Fotu from the spring when we got him. That was our first 5 games, and so he had 5 sacks, was our sack leader on our team. So we anticipate him, along with Screech, adding some value on the outside. Dylan Hendrickson, nicknamed Screech. I'll see him later, I guess. But I think we did a really good job of like I said, adding value, adding depth with some guys that have some experience to help us grow in the way that we want to grow.
We'll get into some more camp battles in just a second, but first, news came out prior to the start of the season that the number 3 jersey, which is a special jersey, is going to go to Milwaukee. I wanted to kind of get the backstory on how you chose him and talk a little bit about that decision.
He politicked for it. No, it's actually the opposite. He didn't want it.
Really?
He was a teammate of Abe, and I think out of respect for Abe and what he represented. And Milwaukee, if you stood them side by side and watched the film, you'd say they play very, very similar. They have very similar personalities, quiet, lead by example, play with tremendous amount of passion, really just love playing the game of football. And Milwaukee does everything right. He's great in grades. Like I said, his leadership's unbelievable, and so we wanted someone that exemplifies what we're trying to build here to wear that number year in and year out, and he definitely deserved it.
Abraham Reinhardt, of course, passed away March of 2019, so this is kind of a special thing, and you're going to continue to do year to year. We'll talk a little bit with Milwaukee about that later. Coach, other camp battles, you mentioned the running back. Is that the biggest camp battle right now, trying to sort out the running back depth chart?
No, I think we got competition on all positions. Which is what we want. We bring in these freshman guys too, as well as some of these transfers and older guys, and the guys that we have on our team too. There's some natural battles that are always happening, and we love that competition. That's just going to make us make us better. At quarterback, Cody was our starter in the springtime. Has done a good job, and he's battling for that one spot with Kobe Tracy and Kenyon Oblad, who is a transfer from UNLV. And so all those guys are getting reps with the ones, and we have a scrimmage tomorrow, so we'll see how that kind of sorts out. But we expect those guys to push each other and to get better, and that's what we want with all the competition. But everybody loves talking about the quarterbacks.
Cody, at the WAC Media Day, said, my job is pretty easy. I just got to get the ball to my playmakers, and you got a lot of those on offense, and a lot of those guys are back, guys like Devon Osborne, Jaylen Powell, and the list goes on and on. Is it that simple for your quarterbacks, and in particular Cody, to just get the ball out in space?
You talk to Coach Bills here in a little bit, but he does a really good job of finding ways to get those guys and use their talents, with the screen game or the play action pass game, and we want to make sure that we're getting those guys a certain amount of touches so they can make some plays. And if we're looking at the stat sheet on an off day and certain guys aren't getting touches, well, that's shame on us on the coaching staff, and we got to be able to get those guys the ball because it's going to give us the best chance to win.
Coach, you played quarterback at Boston College, groomed to Matt Ryan. How hard was it to turn the play calling over to Coach Bills, and what's that chatter like on the headset on game day between you and him?
Yeah, just a lot of frustration because he's not a very good listener. No, I'm teasing. He's awesome. When I hired Kelly, he's got a great personality. He's a great leader of young men. He's a great family man. All those things, and very similar offensive minds, I guess. We want to put a lot on the quarterback to be able to make plays and checks and spread up tempo. We want to go fast and score a lot of points. And our mindset that way was very, very similar. So it wasn't, it was pretty easy. You know, there'll be times where you know, I got to bite my lip a little bit, but it's mostly like not trying to step on his toes, right? But like, okay, he's in a groove, let him call it, or if something goes bad, not to say anything, because, you know, as a coordinator, you hate that, right? A guy poking you in there. So I'll give him little reminders of stuff like, hey, this, you know, maybe get a chance at this, and I don't try and tell him he's got to do that, right? But it's always got that choice too. But it's good relationship. You got to have that communication amongst your coaches. And shoot, I would want that. If we have a chance to be better and someone doesn't say anything, shame on them, right? So as a coaching staff, we're always trying to have a good relationship that way, so we get good feedback on one another.
You guys scored some points. I mean, just the 5 spring games, 31 plus points per game. I mean, I'm sure you're happy with the number. I'm sure you want to score 41 or 51 this spring. How's camp pacing offensively, and how does it compare to the defense? Who's further ahead? Sometimes, you know, one unit will be ahead of another in camp.
It depends on the drill. They're both stinking right now. No, they're doing awesome. It's fun to see them progress each drill. You know, we had a drill yesterday. The defense forced 3 turnovers in only a few plays. It was awesome. And then offense has some big shots down the field and some big runs. And so, you know, you want to definitely start cleaning that up and tighten up fundamentals with each position group. But those battles are awesome. And that's going to happen. You know, you want to be excited for the team, for the side of the ball, right? As a head coach, I'm neutral, right? Of who's doing really well. But I think we're making strides on both sides of the ball. That's very, very pleasing for me. And if our guys just continue to put their head down, it'll be fun when we pad up and hit somebody else.
Let's talk about the defense for a little bit. In the offseason, you bring in Justin and a pretty big name in Utah football. How were you able? What's the backstory there? How were you able to get him to come take over the defense?
Me and Justin have known each other for a long time. So we coached together. Actually, he played with my brother, so I knew about him a long time ago when he was a student athlete at BYU. But Ed Lamb hired us together at Southern Utah University, and so I was there for 4 years. He stayed a little bit longer and just stayed in touch that way. And it worked out that he was at Eastern Washington, given an opportunity to be a coordinator here, and it was easy for me. It was the first person I called, and it worked out for him, for his family, and to be able to come back to Utah. And I think it was a great fit. He knows Utah, he recruits well, and gets the Polynesian culture. We got a lot of Polynesians on our football team too, and that helps. But he's just a great person. Again, great person and great leader of men, and that's our coaching staff right there.
How are the players adjusting? Is it really smooth transition? Is there new terminology that's a challenge?
A little new terminology. I think we're throwing in a couple wrinkles that obviously Coach Anna feels comfortable with, but we're trying to keep our base normal for those guys. So there's different verbiage and different calls there, but you know, there's only a few things that you can call on defense, and our guys are starting to get that.
Got in some shootouts in the spring. Defense gave up almost 25 points a game. So what's the mindset? What's that number? I know you probably don't say, hey, we want to hold people to a certain number per game, but you want that defense to be as stingy as can be.
Yeah, man. If we win 76-75, I'm happy. You know, it's about that. And sometimes the ebb and flow of the game happens where, you know, if you get more stops than the other team, you're gonna win, obviously. And so we're focusing primarily on those fundamentals. Like, we got to be the best tackling team. We got to be the most assignment sound team. We got to force them. Don't give them anything, you know. And I think if we can fix those little details, we'll like where we are in the fourth quarter of all of these games we're playing.
Who's standing out in camp? Some of the same guys we probably saw star in the spring, but is there some other newcomers on defense that are really making plays all over camp? You
know, I mentioned those defensive linemen. You can definitely tell that that they're there, but I think for the most part, again, it's just those guys in those position battles just competing, and I think it's making those guys that are coming back that much better, even if they don't play. But we're going to play a lot of guys.
Let's talk about that depth. How's the depth on O compared to the depth on D? That's something as a new Division I you're probably always trying to get more of.
Yeah, I think so. And you know, when we first got here, with the scholarship situation was different, right? So when we made this jump, administration did a fantastic job of saying, okay, these are the main things that we need, and it was scholarship. And you could argue that, hey, we don't have to be at this point until we're playoff ready. Well, they just jumped right in and said, hey, this is something that you need to do. And so that helped us go out and recruit. Our 8-3 first season, there was some times offensive line-wise where we were just kind of crossing our fingers to get out of some games because we were playing some guys that maybe weren't quite ready yet, or we had some injuries, and playing our 8th, 9th, 10th offensive linemen. Well, now I feel like on both sides of the ball, especially on our interior offensive and defensive line, that that second guy, we've got 10, 12, 13 guys on both sides of the ball, interior, that can play for us, and we're not missing a beat. So for me, that's huge.
We know about, let's talk about the trenches a little bit. Nathan Aceves, I mean, what a great core guy to have. But is there any jobs around him that there's some really good battles going on in camp on that?
Yeah, we signed Cole Watts, kid out at Orem from University of Nevada on the transfer portal, and him, big guy. Him and Cannon Pamphilov at the right tackle. Cannon's a freshman that enjoyed playing those 5 free games in the spring and got better. So a little battle there. You got Kenai Eldridge and Mitch Nelson. They're both competing at the guard spot along with Walter Pongia. We got Ty Hyde at the left tackle. He's done a really good job, and so I think our offensive line continues to improve that way for sure.
Paul Peterson hanging out here. Before we wrap things up, what would the message be to the fans about the upcoming season? How do you get the fans pumped up about the brand of football, about the schedule you guys have? 6 home games this year.
Yeah, which is awesome. We love any chance we have to be home in front of our home crowd is awesome. I think we've only had 1 or 2 games a year where we're at night, right? 7. So most of the time there's a conference rule in the RMAC to play at 1 o'clock, so teams can travel back on their bus trips and stuff like that. Well, now we're all at night, so families go to their soccer games or baseball games, whatever they have on the weekend, and come check us out. We play fun brand of football. The atmosphere is fantastic. Wendy Bulkley does a great job of making sure there's a lot of fun stuff for the families to do. And I anticipate really good crowds coming in, traveling to see their teams. And I know in the night games we've almost filled it. I think every time that we've played a night game, we've almost matched or done better with our home crowd. So I'm excited for that. Those home games will be fun.
Are the players excited about all night games on the home slate?
Oh yeah, I think so. I mean, the day gets a little bit long. Sometimes those, as a coach, you'd like to, you like having those noon or 1 o'clock games, have the rest of your day off a little bit, but it doesn't matter. Those 7 o'clock games are great atmosphere here. So
let the anticipation build. And if you want tickets, dsutix.com. Single game tickets, obviously season tickets are available. Coach, always fun to chat Trailblazer football with you. I know there's a lot of excitement entering your 3rd season, and let's go get some wins. Let's go shock some people.
Let's go. Game on.
We'll take a timeout. Lots more coming up on our Dixie State Football Media Day coverage.
Today's show is brought to you by the Dixie State Campus Store, the official source for DSU Trailblazer clothing, providing students with textbooks as well as educational, office, and art supplies. Located on the 2nd floor of the Gardner Center, the Dixie State Campus Store, proud sponsor of Trailblazer Weekly.
Welcome back, CEC TV Studios. Devon Dixon now joined by the defensive unit as we continue our Trailblazer season preview. And let's meet the defense led by first-year coordinator Justin Enna. How are you, Coach?
Yeah, glad to be here. Doing well.
Darius Nash with us, Milwaukee, and Dylan Hendrickson representing the rest of the defensive players. Coach, let's start with you. Let's go back in time a little bit to when Coach Paul Peterson offered you the job to come over here and be the DC.
Yeah, I was excited about it. Got the call from him middle of May and said, hey, we've got this opening going on, and been thinking about trying to get back to the state of Utah. I was at Utah State the last 2 years. In January, we were all let go. In February, had to find a job, and found my way as a linebacker coach up there at Eastern Washington University. Enjoyed that time there. It was great. We had a spring season, so felt like I had the longest season possible, going from fall season at Utah State to a spring season at Eastern Washington. And I think it totaled up to 14 games. So it was a very, very long season, but I needed to get closer to home. So it's really good to be back in the state of Utah, closer to my daughter. My dad lives here in St. George, so it was an easy situation for me to move immediately and get back to learn and greet the team and understand what we were all about here.
Now, this is not your first time working with Coach Peterson. You guys have had a couple of other stops together.
Yes.
Did you ever realize, though, that you would be working together at Dixie State? That probably never crossed your mind.
Never really crossed my mind. I mean, again, I'm kind of a very tenured coach in the state of Utah. I mean, I started at Southern Utah for 6 years, a year at Weber State, 4 at University of Utah, 2 at Utah State, And then I'm crossing off all these schools that are in the state of Utah. So Dixie was one of those 4 universities I had to stop by. So, but it was really good to get Coach Peterson when he reached out. I just needed to make sure, do my due diligence, of course. And I know Paul, Coach Peterson is a great man. He loves his players. He cares for them. And he's very, very sincere. And you don't get that a lot of places. I love the man. He's a great coach.
Players here, how smooth the transition has been with guys like this.
Yeah, it's been good. The reason why it's been good, it's been easy, is because they care about football. All right, they're in the meeting rooms, they're in our coach's offices a lot of time on their own time, saying, "Hey, coach, I want to learn more." Darius was in my office when I was pretty much in the office. He was in the office. He's learning from me, from Coach Smith. He's just gathering intelligence from other coaches as well. He was talking to Coach Beals over here off camera, saying, "Hey, what are you looking at? What's the quarterback reading?" I mean, he is a film junkie. Same thing with Malaki and Dylan, same way. They want to be the best at what they do. And when you have a bunch of players that want to be the very best, they're going to raise up and make the players around them even that much better.
Let's bring in Darius for just a second. Darius, congrats. Great spring season, man. How fun was it to just get those 5 games in after the fall season was canceled?
Yeah, it was good because it's like that's what everybody was looking forward to. You're always looking forward to playing football. So the fact that we couldn't, it was kind of like, we couldn't do it. But allowing that spring to give us opportunity to play and not go a whole year without football was fun because it's like you get to see where you're at. You get to see what you get to work on going into an even bigger season. So it was fun. Like we got the opportunity to continue to work on our craft. Most people didn't get that. So that was an amazing experience.
In the spring, you were kind of the jack of all trades. I mean, 30 tackles, a bunch solo, led the team with 4 pass breakups, had a bunch of strips, sacks, and made plays. Tell fans what they'll expect from the defense this year and more of the same from you?
Yeah, they expect even more, because now it's like this is the best this team has been as far as like chemistry-wise. Like we even closer than we were last year. So it's going to be a lot more trust and a lot more opportunity for people to make plays, because I know Malaki, Screech, they going to feel where they're supposed to be, and either I could clean up or they could clean up what everybody else is doing. So I believe that it's going to be a lot more of those plays, especially since it's a lot more games. So,
Justin, what's it like coming in and watching Darius? You mentioned how much he's in your office, but what's it like to coach him on the field?
You know what, he is pretty much a coach on the field. If you can, I mean, that's the best interpretation that I can say about Darius. Same thing with Malaki and Screech. Dylan, his name is Screech, so I'm going to go with Screech right there. But they really care about it. I mean, these guys are out there 20, 30 minutes before practice starts with their own direction, doing their own things. Right now, Screech is coaching the D-line right now. I mean, he's doing a good job with those 20, 30 minutes because they truly care about it. They want to be the best. Same thing with Malaki and Lopez, the other inside linebacker. They're trying to become the very best. And when a team really takes ownership, and it's not the coaches directing, but the players directing, special things occur because of it. And so with Darius being out there, Darius knows all what every DB is doing. There's 5 guys on the field in the defensive back position. He knows exactly what those guys are doing. He's learning the linebackers as well. He pretty much knows what they're doing, and then the D-line. I mean, when you become that type of junkie and you're understanding exactly what you want to do, you're compiling knowledge to become the very best. And so essentially he's a coach on the field, directing and leading. When you have that, I mean, it makes our job easier. And he's a very special talent.
Let's bring in Malaki here for just a second. Great spring, 39 tackles, 20 solo. You only played in 4 of the 5 spring games. You tied the record single game tackles against New Mexico State with 19. Wow. 19. Was that an all-time high for you, or like Pee-wee football, high school football? Did you have like 41 one night?
No, that was like probably the highest tackling game I had. It's just grinding through it, pushing through it. It was tough. Like I was looking out, and then Coach she was like, keep going. So I was just, finding the ball and just doing my job. And then after the game, my brother sent me something on my phone, and he sent me the article, and I looked at it and it said I had 19 tackles, but to me I didn't pay no attention to that, because during the game I was just locked in on what I was supposed to do and just running to the ball and making plays. But yeah, I wasn't paying no attention to like stats or anything like that.
You mentioned Misi Tupe. A lot of longtime Trailblazer fans might remember him from his playing days here, and he was an unbelievable linebacker. Went on to play down in Texas, at Texas A&M, I believe. Texas Tech, I get it mixed up. A&M, Texas A&M. What's it like? Does he still throw pads on, and does he still act like a player out there on the field? And what's Misi like as a coach?
I mean, he's a great man. He loves his players, and he's always like doing something to take care of us, and he always wants us to be successful every day. So every day he's always pushing us to be our best, and it's great to have him as a coach and as a father figure too, aside from away from home. So yeah, we're blessed to have him as a coach because he pushes us to be our very best every day.
Malaki, news recently came out prior to the season that you're going to wear number 3 this year for Abe. I want to ask you what that means to you and what your thought process was like when you heard that you were going to be wearing 3.
Yeah, like Coach Peterson meant earlier, I told him, I asked him on the plane going through our media day who was wearing 3, and he told me that it was going to be me. And then I told him like a couple times that I don't want to wear it because I have too much respect for my brother Abe, and like he means a lot to us, like Polynesians that are here my freshman year, because he was a player that we looked up to. Him and Shiloh Pritchard, they were the guys that paved the way for us here as the standard of being like away from home and pushing through like little injuries and playing as hard as you can like every time when you're on the field and maximizing the opportunity that you get.
So what ultimately made you okay with it, and now you're going to wear it?
Just kind of went with it, you know. Whatever Coach Peterson says, I'm gonna go with it, you know. So if he says I'm gonna wear 3, so I'm gonna wear 3, and I'm gonna make sure I do my best to exemplify what Abe did when he was alive. Rest in peace to my brother. But yeah, I'm gonna do my best to make sure our team is ready, our defense is ready because we're gonna go to war all 11 games. The goal this year is to be 11-0 and turn some heads. In the FCS, yeah, but I'm excited, and it's a big honor to wear that number 3, and I appreciate Coach for trusting me and like letting me wear it.
Well put. Coach, talk about Malaki at practice, man.
Yeah, Malaki is he's kind of the bully of the defense. I love him because he's very, very physical. He's super smart too. Malaki is he's also understanding the defense. He wants to understand exactly what everybody's doing, and He has a quiet humility about him. A lot of guys from the islands have that, but when they let that passion unleash on the field, it's beautiful. He is definitely the leader of our defense. He wants to take that. I mean, I love the way he speaks. People listen and they're quiet, but it really comes from great coaches as well. I mean, Coach Tupe is a great coach. He's a great man. He's a great father. Loni Fangupo is a great coach, great man.
Big Loni.
I love him. And he's loud and energetic. Like, he's got that explosion about him. I love it. And then Coach Smith, he's a technician. He is a tough coach as well and rides you guys. And they do a good job. They really understand. And Coach is a great communicator as well, just making sure we get everybody on the same page. But great coaches here, great men. And Malaki is just the second prototype of Misi Tupe. I mean, a great coach. I mean, a great man, a great football player as well. Coach Tupe was a player, and all you guys know here at Dixie what he did, and then at Texas A&M as well. He was a missile, very physical.
Let's bring in Dylan Hendrickson, the local guy, not the only local player on this team. Dylan, how are you, bud?
Good, always. How are you?
There's quite a few local players that prepped here in St. George are on this team now. What's that been like, seeing some of the local talent stay and play as teammates now with you?
It's awesome. It's a lot of fun. I mean, whenever you can stay home and help represent your hometown school, it's awesome. We got some on the D-line, a kid from Snow Canyon, Isaac Lees. He's been here. It's been super fun, helping him out. Cody, obviously. Staley, safety. We got quite a few, and it's just really cool to see that the coaches are recognizing that there is a lot of local talent here and a lot of people that can contribute. And I think when you have local talent here, it helps fill the stands too, for sure.
Let's talk about that a little bit. 6 home games this year, which is nice, out of 11. And that new video board looks
It's sweet.
bad A, right? And then they're going to be getting the loge boxes in the new media room finished. But what would be a good number for that Weber State game on 9/11, man? Standing room only sounds good to me. How about you?
That's how it should be. How it looks on the 4th of July, that's what it should look like at our football game.
Yep, just no blankets on the field. You need that space.
Do it at the grass at the north end.
You know, quiet spring for you statistically wise, but in 2019 you turned a lot of heads, 10 sacks in 2019. I know you've been working your tail off to get back to that 19 level. Take me through what's the biggest difference you see between the defense the last couple seasons and now what Coach Inn is implementing as a new DC?
It's a great question. I mean, to some degree, the standard is always the standard. I mean, we're always going to run to the ball. So that, in essence, hasn't really changed. That's always going to be a thing. I've liked having Enna so far. The D-line kind of just gets to go, or they're just letting us go, which is a lot of fun.
Terminology different at all?
A little bit. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways you can do it, but at the end of the day, it's the same goal, you know, tackle the guy with the ball, you know. But it's been really good. I've enjoyed having him. It's pretty simple so far, honestly. It's been a pretty smooth transition for me, at least. I mean, especially playing D-line, just hit the guy in front of you.
Let's talk nicknames for just a second. I mean, I've been calling you Screech since your high school days. Do you even answer to Dylan anymore?
The only people that call me Dylan are the people that knew me before Screech at this point. I mean, even my grandparents call me Screech most of the time. But yeah, it's.
And if you don't know why, just look at the hair, and maybe you're too young and you haven't seen Saved by the Bell. But have you ever go back and watch old reruns?
Yeah, I definitely. When it was first given to me, when I was like a 9th grader, I went and made sure to watch some of it. He actually passed away last year, the actor. But yeah, I've watched a few episodes. It was because when I was younger, I used to not shave the side of my hair, so I had like the full afro, just like the guy on the show. So.
Let's talk a little bit about the schedule. 7 ranked teams. I mean, that's a huge task for you guys, playing your first full season in the WAC and as a Division I school.
It's awesome. We're super pumped. I know all of us, it's not like we hope we can compete with them. We know we can compete with them. You know, we deserve to compete with them. We put in a ton of work over the summer. We spend a lot of time, you know, perfecting what we do. But like Peterson always says, like, we want to play the best. Like, we don't, I mean, we could easily schedule 62 teams and have a good, you know, win all of them. But you don't really get better that way. You don't really pave the way for the future kids doing stuff like that, you know. So we want the best competition, and we're super excited to go play in a huge stadium and some of these schools that are a little more established and whatnot. It'll be a great experience, and I know we're all super pumped about it for sure.
Just curious, I mean, aside from Weber State, because I think most of you guys know that's in state, and they've been really good, and Jay Hill does a great job up there, and Coach, you know a lot about that program being there. Is there another game on the schedule, maybe a road game that you're really looking forward to?
Sam Houston for sure, because they're the national champs. I'm also really excited for the Montana game. I think the Montana game will be super fun.
Milwaukee, what about you? Is there another one, or is it more the same?
More on Sacramento State. Yeah, I know some guys are like talking trash on social media already, so yeah. So we're excited. You know, they think it's gonna be an easy game, but it's definitely not gonna be an easy game. So we're gonna be ready, and then that's all I'm gonna say. And our coaching staff gonna have us ready, and it's gonna be fun out there.
At the media day, the WAC football media day, you kind of got asked a tough question about giving up 24, 25 points a game, and you said you're going to take it personally, and you were kind of making some promises there, man. You going to hold to those promises? I think it was like, we're going to keep it below 15 a game this year.
Oh, definitely. That's not an easy challenge, but we gonna do our best. We definitely gonna stick to our standard, and yeah, we're gonna show up and show out. So yeah, we're excited.
Darius, what about for you? Is there you got some buddies that play for another team on the schedule? Or is
not yet. I know some guys, but like Malaki said, Sac State, and we want to, like he said 15 points a game. you gotta voice those things and say it, because then you're gonna train like it and practice like it, and then you're going 15 points a game. So wherever you see yourself, wherever you want to get, you gotta see yourself there already. It's like you want to be a next level player, train like it, and it's gonna pay off for itself. So we're gonna train like we want to hold it to 15 points, and that's what it's gonna come to.
Coach, let's talk about some other players that aren't here for just a second. Since you've come in and gotten to know the guys, you got all 11 starters back. Yeah, it's obviously huge.
It is.
Talk about some of the other camp battles, key positions. We know the secondary is really good. We know that maybe some of the camp battles might be for number 2s versus number 3s. Is that kind of where it's playing out?
Yeah, there's some really good D linemen on this as well. I think Isaac Fotu, a great defensive end, a team leader, a tough kid, flies around, doesn't speak a lot, but when he speaks, everybody listens. He's just a motor kid too. I love what he's doing. A younger kid kind of impressing a lot of people right now is Cyrus Webster. He's been rolling in with the 1s and the 2s and been doing a really good job. He also is just playing his heart out. He's a West Jordan product, and I'm excited about his future. You know, I talked about Lopez. I think he's done a really good job. Mark is a really good football player, very smart, just like Malaki, and just keeps on moving forward. I think our DBs is a really good battle at the corner position. I mean, you've got Devin Chandler, you've got Devin Perkins, and then you've also got Cody Williams. So we've got some depth right there, and I'm really excited for that. And then you've got Rel doing a really good job at the boundary safety spot, along with Malini Tia. We've got some depth. Now we just got to make sure that we really hone in onto our assignments. We're disciplined, and where we're supposed to be. But we play it very physically. We talk about RTPP. It's relentless, trustworthy, physical playmakers. And that's where we got to get to. We got to eliminate the points. I like that 15 goal. That's a hell of a goal right there. You're top 2 or 3 in the country if you do that. But at the same time, I mean, why not? Dream big. We're playing the very best. Let's roll.
Coach, what's the focus from now until September 4th as far as implementation and everything from your perspective as being the first-year defensive coordinator here?
Yeah, I think we're drinking out of a fire hose right now a little bit, but we got to press as much as we can into these kids. And then it's really honing in what we specifically need to do versus Sac State. We got to make sure that we play very disciplined. Sac State's head coach is Troy Taylor. He was the offensive coordinator at Utah when I was the linebacker coach. So know him, know how he likes to flood a lot of zones with receivers, and they're a really good passing team. And they're not a bad running team either. So I think they're about 155 yards per game rushing and almost close to 400 yards passing. So we've got to do a good job of just making sure that we are sound in our assignments and that we got guys, when it's all said and done, running to the ball, being physical, tackling well, and just really showing up and being playmakers when the opportunity presents itself.
And it will, starting September 4th. Coach, great to have you on set here. Darius, Milwaukee, Screech, good to have you, boys. Best of luck. We'll see you out on the field.
Yep. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Today's show is brought to you by the Dixie State Campus Store, the official source for DSU Trailblazer clothing, providing students with textbooks as well as educational, office, and art supplies. Located on the second floor of the Gardner Center, the Dixie State Campus Store, proud sponsor of Trailblazer Weekly.
Trailblazer season preview. Now joining me on set here inside the CEC TV studios on our Trailblazer Weekly set is the offense and Coach Bills, as well as players Devon Osborne, Jaylen Powell, Cody Wilstead. Guys, welcome. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Coach, let's start with you. And always a fun and interesting dynamic with you and Coach Peterson, but it seems like you guys are working so well together. And I know this past spring you guys put up almost 35 points a game.
We did, yeah. No, I've known Coach Peterson for a while, probably over 10 years now. I actually took his place at BYU. He was at BYU and then left, and then I replaced him at BYU. So known each other for a while. We have the same philosophy. We know the same people. When we're talking football together, it's just, I mean, it's pretty seamless. And so the transition for me to come here was really good. My only concern was, you know, he's a quarterback guy. I'm a quarterback guy, so sometimes you can get, button heads a little bit, but it hasn't been that way at all. I'm usually knocking on his door asking him for his thoughts on things, and he kind of kind of stays out of it, and kind of like he let me know that he'll mention what he wants to get done here and there as far as game management and any suggestions. But those things are very well taken by me, and that's just how it goes. That's how you need to operate.
Almost to 32 points a game to be precise, 420 yards of offense, 298 through the air on average in the 5 spring games, 122 on the ground. How do you improve upon those numbers with a full 11-game season this fall?
Yeah, no, we met every Monday after games, and we put up a cut-up. I had about 10 or 15 clips of the previous game, and most every game there was plays that were left on the field, and we were understanding that we could have probably put up a lot more points, and so we're very excited to kind of prove upon that, and we got the playmakers to do it, so we're excited.
What's that dynamic like between offense and defensive coordinators? Are they wanting you to run the ball sometimes a little more, give the defense a little bit break? Because as fast as tempo of this offense goes, if you go 3 and out, that defense doesn't get much of a break.
Yeah, you got to play complementary football. At the beginning of my coaching career, I didn't really care. I was like, I'm going to go score as many points as we can. We were also going like 3 and out in about 10 seconds, and so you get the defensive guys, mad at you. But we work really well together. Me, Coach Ann, and Coach Peterson, we play complementary football here. We go fast, and so I think the key to the whole operation is to have explosive plays, score a ton of points. If we're not scoring over 40 points per game, I'm disappointed. But also we have to sustain drives. We cannot go 3 and out in 10 seconds just because we want to go really fast. And so the name of the game is staying on the field. The best defense is played when your defense is on the sideline, and so that's our mentality. And we can improve a lot more on that, with what we did in the spring, and that's what we're doing right now in fall camp.
Coach, talk more about your philosophy. I mean, fans heard it. You want to score points, but talk more about your style, your philosophy, and what they'll see on the field this fall if they haven't seen a game in a while.
Earlier in my career, I was kind of attached to a scheme, and so when someone says, what kind of offense do you run? Are you an air raid guy? Are you a pro-style guy? I've just morphed into it because I've been in it a long time now. My offense is get the ball to the playmakers in space, and so we have 3 dynamic playmakers right on this stage, and then we have a ton more on this offense. But my entire goal is to get the ball in their hands in space, and then good luck to the defense. They have to make tackles, they have to cover, and so we don't care who we're playing. Let's just get the ball in their hands and then let them do their thing.
Let's bring in those playmakers. We'll circle back to Coach for some more comments and questions as we continue our Trailblazer football preview. Devon Osborne, how are you? Same name. I feel like we're kindred spirits. You broke out in the 5 games in the spring, 30 catches, bunch of touchdowns. What really clicked for you in the spring? I mean, a star in Devon Osborne was born, I felt like, getting ready for this final season you have ahead of you this fall.
No, it was just confidence, just being still confidence from Coach Grant, Coach Bills, and knowing that I'm the deep threat to take the top off the defense. Every time we line up for any drill or anything like that, Cody and Coach Bills and Coach Grant are on me like, you got to take the top off. We're going right to you. So it's just that confidence in you and understanding that you can make that play. And it was like that from day one.
30 catches, 441 yards, and 3 touchdowns to be precise. What people don't understand, though, is you've got some pretty good hands. You can really box and use your frame, too. So some of the underneath stick routes and stuff, I remember seeing you kind of catch some over the middle in the spring as well, which makes it really hard for DBs to try to pick their poison.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like I said, Coach Grant pounds us every day. In our indies, we're doing slants. We're doing things with the bags. We're trying to get open, get physical, use my big body, my frame to try to make plays, because as much as I would love to run posts and goes all the time, I know I got to get the intermediate game from slants to digs to curls or anything like that. So just sticking on the details, that's what we really work on during our individuals.
You're like the mayor on this team, I hear. How do you quantify your leadership, and how important is it for you to lead by example and lead with words to some of the underclassmen on this team?
I think it's very important. I mean, we're in a time in this world where there's a lot going on from so many different, I can't even explain, but it's just trying to keep us together and knowing that we're all good human beings first and football players, and being out there in the community, helping kids on Pop Warner teams and anywhere we can do, just being a good person, being a good teammate.
Coach, what's it like to have Devon for one more season?
It's the best. Makes my job easy. We, like he said, I think the defense has to make decisions when they're playing against us, because if they double Devon, and we've told our receivers this, if you're running a route and there's 2 people on you, you've done your job. And maybe it's not that exciting because you're not getting the rock, but there's 2 people on you for a reason, and it's going to open up guys like JP, other guys on our offense that they're gonna do their jobs. And so, like I said, makes our job easy, and it makes it easy as a play caller because you got to just find out where your one-on-ones are, and then you take advantage of it.
Let's bring in JP. Jaylen Powell, 21 grabs in the spring, 305 yards. Only 1 touchdown. I know we're going to see a lot more of those touchdowns this fall.
Yes, sir. A lot more production out of me. Just with Cody being a great quarterback and Coach Bills being a wonderful offensive coordinator. And obviously Devon, he's already mentioned, being a deep threat, letting me do the dirty work, 3rd down conversion, then we go back to Devon on 1st down or hand the ball off to Quali.
What's the chemistry like in the wide receiver room? You guys got some depth there too.
We just added a couple of guys, great pieces. Keith Davis, me and Devon returning back, obviously being productive for the offense, and Malcolm, Ricky, just to name a few guys. We're all looking forward to making a name for ourselves this year.
Coach, how hard is it to take Jaylen off the field or Devon off the field? Because you
Extremely
do
hard.
have some guys waiting in the wings that are
Absolutely.
going to get their chance.
It's they've made it really hard, which is a credit to them. It's really hard to take them off the field. So we have a set where we go 2 tight ends, and so JP usually comes off. And my thing is I don't want to take him off the field, so it's good to get him some rest. But if you put a tracking device on their pads for how much they run in practice, it would be miles and miles. And so these guys, they stay healthy. They never complain. They work hard, but taking them off the field is not something we want to do. I mean, we want to keep those guys on the field as much as possible.
Jaylen, how much does it help having some really good DBs? I know you're probably sick of it, and there comes a point in camp where you want to hit somebody else or go against somebody in a different uniform. But how much is, that defense over there pushing you guys and making you guys better?
It's a good thing that you brought that up. We had a meeting yesterday, and I had a play to go up to make a great grab, a grab that average players don't make, as Coach Grant mentioned. And today I came out and very identical play, and I made the catch. And it's just great to always compete against players like D Nash and the whole DB group. It pushes me as a competitor, and I love the competition, so I'm all for it.
Does it get a little chippy in practice?
Last year, probably a lot of fighting. But it's great to have that atmosphere because you know that there's competitors on the team that really want it and that really want to play football, and I wouldn't want to be surrounded by anything other than that.
Let's bring in Cody Wilstead, former Pineview Panther. Cody, the backstory, I mean, you graduate here, play for Coach Hawes, go to BYU, doesn't work out, you want to play.
Yeah.
Go to a JC back in the Midwest, and now here you are back in your hometown, starting at Kennesaw State. Great spring, no picks. Mm-hmm. Had a bunch of 300-yard games. Talk about what's like. Is there a little bit of burden on your shoulders in this first WAC season with 11 games, with 7 of them ranked, to go out there and be the gunslinger you always been?
Absolutely. I mean, we're all out here to compete. We're kind of like you said earlier, like we got 7 games that are against ranked opponents. Like that doesn't matter to us. We're gonna go out there. We're gonna do our thing. We're gonna put up points. Like we're not scared of that. And so we're just excited to make plays. We're just excited to show people that we are coming from a Division II school, but I think we're all D1 athletes. Like I don't see them as D2 athletes, even though they were recruited here. I think Division I schools really missed out on their opportunity with them. And so I think everyone's kind of got a little chip on their shoulder, coming up, and everyone's doubting us. We're projected 1-10. Our only win we're projected is against another Division II team. Like that's not going to happen. That's not how we're going to be. And so that's given us extra motivation to, come out and show people how we can play and how good we really are.
Your motivation started right after the spring season ended. Talk to everybody a little bit about your summer, driving to California every single weekend, staying down there 2-3 days to work with John Beck.
Yeah, I just, I want to be the best I can be for this team, for Coach Bills, for Coach Peterson. I wanted to do everything I could personally to be the best quarterback I could be. And, John Beck had a really good success last year training some guys, and so I was like, he's probably the best quarterback coach in the game right now. Might as well, pick his brain a little bit, learn from him, and him being a fellow BYU guy, I'd met him a couple times, so it was good. I just reached out, and he was all for it, and it was a great experience.
Coach, what difference have you seen from that last spring game in Cody's place since he's been putting the time in on his own in the offseason.
Yeah, I know John really well. So I was at BYU when he was a player.
Right.
And so when I found out he was going to work with John, I was super excited about it. Same thing with Coach Peterson knows John as well. And we have the same philosophies. And so I knew that, sending to, when he was going to go to John in the summer, that he was going to come back ready to roll. And I mean, he hasn't missed a beat. He's been, I can notice a difference with his command, with his leadership. And I mean, it's just kind of a seamless transition. So he's done everything we've asked him to do, and that's why he had success in the spring, and we're just excited to build upon that in the fall.
And yet I keep hearing Coach Peterson always likes to keep it a competition, right?
Yeah.
He never really likes to tab you the starter, but you look like the clear-cut starter. How close is that quarterback room, and how does that sit with you? You okay with that?
Yeah, so our quarterback room is actually super close. I know when Kenyon came in, like I reached out to him before he even got here, and I was like, look, like I don't know how it was for you at UNLV, but here we root for each other. We don't tear each other down. Like we're a close group. We hang out. We like each other.
Play
here.
Monopoly.
Yeah, we play Monopoly every day. Hey, and so it's like I reached out to him and I was like, look, like this is how we are. Like you're gonna either buy in or you're not gonna last long. And he's done a great job buying in. Like I love Kenyon. He's a great kid. He's got some talent, and he's definitely pushing me and Kobe to be better. And it's great. I mean, do I feel like I'm the star? Absolutely. But they also feel like they deserve that spot too, and that's great. It pushes all of us to be better. And I'm just out there doing my thing, and they're doing theirs. And we'll see where the coaches put it.
Coach, talk about the quarterback battle from your perspective as it stands right now. I know we still got a little bit of time before that first game against Sacramento State on the 4th of September.
Yeah, well, I think it's unique to have a group of guys in there. We have 5 quarterbacks in there right now that we can win with for sure. And so I think it's unique to have really good quarterbacks in there and then have such good chemistry in that room. Sometimes there's some tension that it makes the meetings a little awkward. We don't have that awkwardness. I mean, we're totally on board with each other to have each other's backs. But I've been open about this before. I'm not a fan of having a 2-quarterback system. Never say never, but I'm just not a fan of it. We showed in the spring that we went with Cody and we stuck with Cody. I just think I don't want my quarterback looking over his shoulder if he makes a bad throw. He's going to throw an interception. Well, he didn't in the spring, but he knock on wood, right? But I don't want him looking over his shoulder, and so I want him to be confident. I want him to know that the coaches have his back, and I want him to know that the players have his back as well. And so the competition's great. Kobe Tracy is coming along really nicely. They're doing everything we're asking them to do. Kenyon's coming in, just learning the offense and doing really well as also. And Cody, like I said, has been a really good leader for both those guys, and we're just excited and actually very grateful to have such good dudes in that room.
How much freedom do you give Cody with audibles and everything in the middle of the game?
Way too much. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, that's my philosophy. Growing up as I'm a disciple of BYU quarterbacks, the quarterback factory with all those guys, and that's a system that's kind of withstood the test of time that you see. I would say probably over 85% of the college football teams in America right now are using that Norm Chow, Lavelle Edwards offense, and it's kind of morphed into the air raid offense that you see now, which everyone uses. That system is really predicated upon giving the quarterback the freedom to be the captain of the ship. And so I tell them all the time, I'll reel you in if I have to, but you're the captain. If you see something, if you want to make an audible, you're going to make it. I'm going to give them kind of the guidelines to do that. But I do not want my quarterback acting like a robot out there, and I don't want him just to go off what we drop on the board, because football is a very fluid game. I mean, things change every single second of every play, and so you better have the tools and the capabilities to change to where to get our offense into the best play, and he's done a really good job at that.
Cody, without giving any secrets away, give me a little taste of a play. Not necessarily the exact cadence or call, but give me kind of an example of something that you're trying to get Devon the ball on. What's that sound like in the huddle?
I see a press corner. Honestly, I'm telling him to take it over the top. Like I don't think there's anyone that can beat him in a press coverage. Like he's too fast, too big to really stopped like that. Their best chance is holding on to him like some school did quite a few times this last spring. We won't talk about it, but they just had to hold him or else he was going to score 3 more touchdowns that game. And so I see something like that. JP, we actually ran a play the other day where
Tell me about it.
Well, I get up under center. And
Maybe we should have JP tell us about it.
It wasn't actually to JP. Like, I'll throw a lot out to JP where it's just like, you know what, like, I can tell he wants the ball in his hand, so I'm like, all right, I'll throw it out. But we had to play under center. I get up there. It's kind of where I was making my own calls. And I made a call. I thought I was great. I throw a ball, but I get drilled by the DN. No one was blocking the DN, which is 100% my fault. But it was like, me and Coach Bills talked about it. He's like, look, I'm all for you doing that kind of stuff, but you got to protect yourself too. So like that's kind of where he does it, where he'll reel me in, be like, look, if you're going to do that, you have to do this. Like, you can't just let an end come at you free. And so it's really great being able to have that freedom that he gives us. Like, and like you said, like, I don't have to worry about making a mistake. Like, we all make mistakes, and, you know, not having to worry that I'm going to get pulled or anything like that. It's been really beneficial for me, just having that confidence from the coaches. So,
is it fair to say your favorite route to throw is the fade route, or is there another route that you would prefer to throw? I'm just curious.
Probably the post.
Post.
I like the post better. There's more room.
Jaylen, favorite route to run? You got one that you're like, I'm going to burn him.
Open route. Only thing you got to worry about is getting open.
Yes, sir. That's everything, man.
Yes, sir.
Smart.
With your speed. Deb, what about you?
Post and goes, man. Post and goes. That's all I do.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about, you know, some playmakers that you have helping these guys out to be successful this fall. You're going to need a lot of guys to play really well, and everybody's going to have to cover their assignments every single play to execute as much as you can.
Yeah, we got some ballers for sure. We had Quali Conley came in last year, and he came in as a freshman. I think his first week he was squatting and power cleaning just as much as some of the juniors and seniors on our team. And so he stepped in, and right away you could tell that he came from a high school that had a good, solid weightlifting program. And that dude's he's as durable as I've seen. He's tough, and then you saw in the spring, I mean, he just makes a ton of plays. We brought in Joshua Fields from UTEP, running back. Then we brought in DJ Oates from Colorado, and then obviously we have Drew, who's coming back from an injury, but he's just been coming back and making plays just like he was. And so we're very fortunate at that position. And then, like JP mentioned earlier, we brought in a couple of receivers, and I love that receiver group. And then I think our tight ends are coming along as well too. I think we have 3 tight ends right now that we can win with, and those guys are just working their tails off. So we're very excited about the group we have.
It sounds like running back and tight end might be the 2 camp battles that are really tight right now as far as 1, 2, 3 on the depth chart.
Yeah, and that's like I said, it's a good problem to have. You got to find the guys that you can win with, and then you got to use those guys. And so I think a big part of college football now, especially look at our schedule this year, a big part of college football is staying healthy and staying fresh. And so if you can get those guys in, get your number 1 playmakers in, and then get those guys on the sideline, get their legs back, and then while those guys are doing that, you get another batch of playmakers in there. I think that's the mark of a great team. And so I think we're on our way. I think we have a little ways to go in a few positions, but I think we're on the right track.
I love what Cody said about the quarterback room, rooting for each other. Do the running backs and tight ends, are they doing more of that same, even though there's some good competition right now?
They hate each other. No, I'm just kidding. They don't. No, they love each other, and that's the culture we want to bring in our offense, and then that's the culture that Coach Peterson brings as well. I mean, I think D. Nash, he's mentioned this a lot, but we stay together, and this is a tight unit. I've been on one team. I think I've mentioned this to the offense a few times. As a coach, I've been on one team where I thought we were just very divided. We had the talent to win. That's not a fun experience as a coach or a player. And so I think regardless of your situation, you're fortunate to be on a team. It's a family. You got to have each other's back. I think that's like I said, the mark of a great team.
Devon, what's got you fired up for this season? One thing that you're just really looking forward to in particular?
I think put it on a show. I mean, I've been here for 4 years, and just
you're the
being
man
here,
now. 4 years of tournament.
I know. Yeah, man. Re-election, but
Yes.
it's been just every year. You know, you had the most talent. We had this, we had that, but we never put it together all on the field. I'm like, this year is the year that we're gonna put it all together. We got the quarterback, the running back, the receivers, the O-line, the defense, the special teams. We got the coaches. We got it all put together. We just got to put it out there on the field. So I'm ready for that because I'm tired of hearing about other schools in Utah and around the nation and stuff like that. It just fuels me because, I mean, we're Dixie State down in St. George, Utah. Everybody still thinks we're a junior college or something like that. So I'm just ready just to put it out there and shove it in their face.
I love it. You mentioned the offensive line. Cody, I want to talk to you about the O-line.
Yeah.
Some camp battles there, or is that pretty solidified? You got a lot of guys coming back, and that's been a unit that's improved and improved over the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, it's tremendous improvement from my first spring here until now. It's like night and day. Nate Aceva is just he's a one heck of a leader. Honestly, like he's in there, he's in getting the guys fired up. He's making sure they know what they're doing. He's making the calls, doing everything he can to make the O-line one of our best position groups for sure. As for battles, we got some tackles that we're trying to figure out. Nate, obviously, he's going to be the starter. Everyone else kind of, figuring out their own way and seeing which group kind of gives us the best look moving forward. And so, I mean, there are battles and there are also set spots. So,
Jaylen, we talked about it a little bit earlier. 7 ranked opponents. How fired up are you to play the defending national champ, Sam Houston State, playing number 3 South Dakota State out there? You're playing Weber State, who's ranked 6th right now.
A lot of guys on the team, they know me. I'm a big competitor. That's what I come and play football for. I love the competition, and being able to play Sam Houston just give you the opportunity that you've had since high school to come out and show that you can play against top-tier talent and prove yourself as one of those top guys.
Coach, tell the fans a little bit about this offense. Right out of the gate, Sac State, I think there's some expectations you guys are going to put up a lot of points.
Yeah, we don't change for anyone, and I know that maybe might sound a little bit boastful, but we don't mean to be like that. We don't change for anyone. We do our thing regardless of who we're playing. We prepare really well. We know what we're going to face. These teams are going to be very, very good. We have respect for everyone we're playing, but we don't change who we are. We get on the field, we're going to score a lot of points, and we're going to get the ball to the playmakers. And so I have all the confidence in the world in these guys, and like I said, we're going to do our thing and be consistent with whoever we play. So we cannot wait. We cannot wait for whoever we play. So
September 4th, if you don't have your tickets yet, single game tickets, season tickets on sale, dsutix.com. Watch this offense light it up. Coach Bills, thanks for joining us. Devon, Jaylen, Cody, always great to see you. And next time we talk will probably be post-game after Sac State.
Perfect.
Let's go.
Yes, sir.